start, ma'am?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, sir. Today, we have with us Advocate Anahat Hulialkar. He is an executive alumni of Jamnanal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies. He holds two separate and distinct master's degree in administrative HR management, 3 years part-time and laws, international law and in constitutional and administrative law. In addition to basic bachelor's degree in mathematics and 4 PG diplomas in Arabic, financial management, operation research for management and computer software techniques, and over 30 years of experience 30 years of experience consisting of about 21 years with Air India from 1983 to 2003 in functional domains of human resources development, personal administration, industrial relations, legal aviation security, industrial security, prevention and control, fraud prevention, vigilance, watch and ward, VVIP security, general administration, followed by 10 years of classroom session engagement with about 40 educational institutions in and around Mumbai in knowledge domains of general management, human resource management, law, decision sciences, operations management, social and behavior sciences. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rutuja, and thank you, Vedika ma'am. So nice to see young people. And first thing, let me give my compliments to the management of Sasmira Institute. Okay, the director Kamal Tandon sir, and then More madam for inviting me for this. Another thing is, please give me who is the host. Please give me the co-host, right, so that I can share slides. Okay, Vedika ma'am, are you there? Please make me co-host.
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
So the introduction was interesting. I think, I don't know from where they got it. I think it's a bit dated. Okay. So 40 institute, now I've crossed 50. And maybe, so I don't know, it's a old introduction, but it's okay. I am on the same track. Only thing is, as every passing year, your count goes on increasing. Okay. So your experience is there. Experience increases because you are there. Okay. Nothing special you are supposed to be doing for that. Okay, thank you. I'm co-host now. I can share the slides. So I have prepared a presentation for you, and that so that the idea behind this is that our discussion becomes more channeled. Okay. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes a very general kind of a discussion. So just as when we are, railway trains are there, you have the tracks, and the advantage of track is that the train always moves on the track. Okay, and if it goes off the track, then there is a derailment. So that's the specific purpose of PowerPoint slides. And since technology is there, I think we should make use of it, and that is why these slides are there. Okay, so let's straight away move to our subject matter. Basically, the lecture is on intellectual property rights. So we will try to look at what is property and what is intellectual property, and specific intellectual property domains that are there. We will discuss that. Whatever our 1.5 hours of session, whatever it permits, so we will cover that. We'll look at the international scenario. We'll look at the domestic initiative of the government to protect the intellectual property rights. But before we get into that thing, somebody may have this in his mind or her mind that, well, we are Institution Innovation Council, and the basic objective is to promote entrepreneurial spirit amongst the student. because good old days, olden times, business schools, basically, they will prepare students for corporate careers so that they can join, big multinational companies and thereafter slowly climb the corporate ladder. Okay, that was there, but of late we see that there is a lot of emphasis that is being given on the entrepreneurial side also, so that the B school graduates, not only that they are joining good companies to start their career, but they can also start their own company. So instead of looking for employment, you can be giving employment to people, and the independence that it gives as a independent entrepreneur is immense. Okay, when you join an organization, you got to follow the format. Okay, you can't. Now we teach, many times we know that the syllabus is outdated, this, that, a lot of issues are there. But then basic thing is that we got to stick to the format. Okay, if I'm not happy with the syllabus of a particular university institute, the only option that is there for me is to open my own university or institute where I can run my own syllabus. So what I'm saying is, if you want to really be independent, then the basic option, the best option available to you is to start your own company, to start your own initiative. And that is the basic purpose for this Innovation Council, as I understand from whatever little introduction I received from you people, the institute management. Now, the connection between intellectual property rights and entrepreneurial setup is basically, can you protect a business idea through the intellectual property rights? Then the answer is no. Okay, but what can you protect? You can protect your patents are there, copyrights are there, all those ideas can be protected through that. But as a business idea, you can't protect, because it's a very difficult thing to prove. It's very difficult to put it into one of the slots of the intellectual property rights, as we understand. So there is a positive connection between intellectual property rights and any kind of entrepreneurial venture. And that is why this subject is very, very relevant, okay, for our discussion as entrepreneurial cell. And we will take it forward in that direction. And that is, whatever time you spend with me will be well spent. This is my introduction, which already Rutuja has already given to me, given to you people. I also actually given to me, in the sense I could make out it says 40 institute, but 50 institutes. It's okay. So let us all begin with the concept of property per se. First thing is, you have to realize now this, your business law basic. You people have what, taken admission here, or you have finished 1 year? What is the situation? Rituja or anybody can respond. You are already finished 1 year of MBA, or you have joined the institute?
So we are in the first year.
So we
Are
are
in the
about to
first
finish
year,
our
in the
first
sense
year.
you are beginning the first year.
So
We are about to
finish.
end the first.
Yes.
Okay, good. So there will be a paper on legal aspects of business, as they call. So you can get the basic idea about the laws, but just to warm you up on that, basically law is about civilization. It brings the order in the society. And the connection between business and law is that unless there is an order in the society, you can't have a business going. So to give you an illustration, there are some nations, okay, they are independent nations, there are governments there in, say, Africa. So say Nigeria is there, suppose. Okay, so if you go in India, go to any town, go to the market, and we have the shops. I'm not talking about organized retail, they have come up everywhere, but the traditional mom and pop stores that we have, there you see the setup. lot of things, lot of articles which are available for sale. A typical grocery store, what we call as Bania store. Okay, Bania as a profession, not as a caste. So there you will see a lot of articles are hanging there, and then suppose you want to buy something, you choose something from the outside which is hanging there, and then you virtually shout there, is there anyone inside? And somebody will emerge from somewhere, and then you pay, and then you go off. Typically, you can always snatch that item and vanish. Okay, there is nobody watching you. There is no CCTV also there. Okay, but still, we are law-abiding people in India. We believe that we don't want anything free. Okay, if I'm going to have something, I'm going to pay for it. Okay, that's what keeps the law going. There's a rule of law here. But if you go to Nigeria, how does a shop look like? Shop looks like there is a small hole in the window, in the wall. Small window is there, and then you go there and you ask whether something is available, and the shopkeeper will say yes, and then you say how much. So you negotiate the price, and first you pay the price. He will collect the money, he'll count the money, keep it inside, and through that window he will deliver you whatever goods you have purchased. Okay, if we have shops like our Indian shops there, the way they are set up, within 5 minutes, it will be a total sellout for zero. Okay, so people will simply take it away. Or some of you, if you have visited South India, you look at the kind of security measures that are there in a liquor shop. In South India, wherever, let it be Tamil Nadu, let it be Kerala, okay, you will see that there is a lot of grills that are put outside. Okay, why? Because typically maybe the people who consume alcohol, they are not a very disciplined kind of a lot. So the shop has to be well secured against them. So unless they receive the money, they will not give you the goods. Goods are not out on display because of the simple reason that there is the law and order level is low there. So what I'm saying is, unless there is a law and order in the society, the business cannot prosper, business cannot exist also. Okay, because if you can rob somebody of someone, why would you purchase it? Okay, that's the kind of a thing. Okay, so now we talk about business, and the fundamental thing, basically the idea of business, etc., emerges from the idea of property, idea of ownership. That's also a part of civilization. If you go to jungle, there is no civilization, there is jungle law there. And in a jungle, there is no ownership. Okay, no monkey can say that this tree belongs to me and only I will eat the fruits from this tree. No, anybody who can climb that tree and reach to that fruit can eat the fruit. That's the way it operates. So there is no concept of ownership. There is no concept of property. And that was the situation before civilization dawned on this earth for human beings. Okay. So with the concept of civilization, the law came, and the ownership concept came, the concept of property came. Okay, and basically what? When you buy something, what are you doing? You are paying money. In return, the shopkeeper passes you on the property in goods. That's what Sale of Goods Act will tell you. So you are purchasing, the property in goods is transferred to you. So what I'm saying is the concept of property is very, very fundamental for business, because business is about transactions. And one of the prominent ways of transacting is transferring the property in goods or in immovable property. Okay, so it's about property, and law and civilization all are very connected. So now let us look at what is property. The definition is here, general sense, because what happens is legally you don't find a definition of property in whatever Indian laws are there. So it's generally understood. There is a wonderful subject called as jurisprudence in law. Is there any law graduate here? Hello? Somebody? Nobody. Okay, good. Some of you might have done your BCom. might have had some introduction or some other courses, BCom, vanilla BCom, or banking, insurance, accounting, finance, capital markets, all those variants that are there. Somebody who is pursuing CA, ICWA, CS, all these people, they get a running introduction of law, but other people from arts, commerce, backgrounds, BMS, of course, BMS, they already know management, but still they come for MMS for what I don't understand. But maybe, because most of the thing it is repetition, but maybe at a higher level you study whatever is taught to you at BMS. So what I'm trying to say is that there is, you don't find any legal, but I was telling you about jurisprudence. Jurisprudence is science of law. So because law is territorial in nature, territoriality means Indian law is different than US law and Pakistani law and Bangladesh law and Nepal law and etc. etc. Every nation has sovereignty and every nation has their own national laws. Okay. But if you discover the common principles among this, you get the science of law, the basic principles that govern all the legal systems across the world. A critical analysis of that is what goes by the name of jurisprudence. Nowadays, they call it as legal theory also. So in jurisprudence, if you go, you get all general concept, understanding of all general legal concepts. So this is taken from jurisprudence. The property is any physical or virtual entity that is owned by a person or jointly by a group of persons. So there is a concept of property, and with the concept of property, there is a concept of ownership. So with every property, there is a ownership. Of course, ownership keeps on changing. Ownership as of now, okay, maybe half an hour after this, maybe somebody else may be owner, so on and so forth. Okay, so what I'm saying is there is a owner positively with the property. Of course, there is a concept of res nullius also. Res nullius means things which are not owned by anyone. Okay, suppose there are stray dogs on the street. These dogs are stray, okay, they are just roaming around here and there. There is no owner. If that dog bites anyone, you can't complain. But if there's a pet dog, and suppose that pet dog bites you, and because of that, you have to undergo that rabies injection, etc., medical treatment, you can file a case against the owner of the dog. Okay. Why? Because it's not res nullius. There is a owner, but if there's a stray dog, you can't file. First thing is you can't file a case against a dog, because dog is not a person in the eyes of law. Okay, dog is a thing. So person and thing, that distinction is there. So things can be objects of law, persons are subjects of law. So laws, the rights and liability. Law is about rights and liabilities. They come to us only because we are person. Person can be a natural person like you and me. All human beings are natural persons. There can be artificial juristic persons, a company is there, corporate bodies, corporate, what we call as, okay. Or even now that Ram temple is coming up there in Ayodhya. Now, who is the owner of the land? You know, there was a dispute going on and it was decided maybe a couple of years ago by the Supreme Court. And there the court said the ownership of the land is to Ram Lalla Birajman. Who is Ram Lalla Birajman? The idol of the infant Ram, which is there. So that idol is owner. Okay. So what I'm saying is law recognizes this artificial persons as persons. Okay, they can have rights and liabilities. So this particular land ownership right is given to the deity. Okay, or Muslim saints are there. Now there is a dead saint there whose majar, grave is there. Now the property of the majar, that particular institution surrounding, is owned by that peer. Okay, the dead person who is there. Like that, there is a concept of artificial personality. So it can be a real a person, natural person, what we call human beings, or a juristic person, artificial personality. So they can own, and it can be owned singly, it can be owned jointly also. So there can be a joint ownership also. So there is a right of ownership. Okay, so a owner has exclusive control over the property. Property is a thing. One person cannot have ownership of another person. That becomes slavery. Slavery was not there in India. Bonded labor we had, our version of slavery, and bonded labor is abolished. Even since the independence. Okay, there is a abolition, and even constitution also there is a provision that bonded labor is banned, and there is a bonded labor. Bonded labor is no longer there. So one person cannot own another person. Okay, the property is a thing which is owned by a person. So concept of ownership is there, and the owner has an exclusive control. Now what a owner can do? He can consume. So if you buy ice cream for 20 rupees, Amul ice cream you buy, or any ice cream for that matter, or anything, you can consume it because you are the owner. So that shopkeeper, why are you eating this? You have been paid 20 rupees. After 20 rupees, I have become the owner. What do I do with that is my problem. Okay, I will eat it, or I will just put it under my collar and enjoy the tickling feeling that I have on the back. Okay, or I will rub my hands with it. Whatever I want to do, it's my problem. Only thing is, your enjoyment of property should not cause nuisance to others. Okay, that is very important. Always remember, our rights are there as human beings. Fine, they are with us. But that doesn't mean that you use that rights to harass anyone. Okay, so that is very important. So consume, sell, rent. Okay, you can consume, you can sell it, rent it, mortgage it. Okay, mortgage. What is mortgage? Hello. Nobody knows. Okay, mortgage
Hello,
means
Mortgage
sir,
means-
mortgage.
Okay,
Yes,
please,
sir.
Shweta, you can go ahead.
Arekar.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Tell,
So
tell.
mortgages, we like I don't know specific word in English, but can I say it in Hindi?
Marathi, Hindi, बोला काय बोला
Sir,
Understanding
like
is important.
gahan ठेवायचं, like
gahan, okay.
like we
So it
keep
is like
some.
to give. It is like to give your like property on a loan for a
Okay,
duration of time.
okay, fine.
And release it.
So what they call as girvi in Hindi, or gahan what, or gahan in Marathi, that is what, but there are two kinds there. One is pledge. Pledge is for movable property. Mortgage is for immovable property. So how does it operate is, suppose I want a loan, the person who is giving me loan will say, okay, we give you loan, but what is the guarantee that you will return the capital to me and you will pay the interest regularly to me? So I will say, okay, then I will give you the papers of my flat or my building or my factory or my land. Okay, so that is how the mortgage. So that he can do transfer, he can do, okay, you can lease out. Suppose you are owner of a flat, you can lease it out to people. Okay. So various things. So what we say is basically ownership is a bundle of rights. Then we say proprietary rights. So the rights which are available to owners are known as proprietary rights, and they are just in rem. Just means right. Rem means they are available against the entire world. Okay, when suppose you have a bike and you have kept the bike outside and you are not locked the bike, does not mean that anyone can take the bike. Because you are the owner, okay, that will be theft. You cannot be dispossessed of your ownership. As simple as that. You are the owner. Because you did not, I did not lock, so what? That's my negligence, but why should you take advantage of my negligence? Okay. So that is a thing. So now this right is available against whom? Who cannot take you away your bike is entire world. Nobody except you or anyone who is having authority from you. Suppose you tell somebody, "Arey, mera bike leke aao," your friend is there, he enjoys the authority. Authorization should be there. Without that, so this right is available against the entire world, and that is what we call as just in rem. Proprietary rights are there. So traditional principles, control over the use of the property, how that property is used. Suppose you have a land, Now that land can be used by you for anything. Of course, since the government and the development the authorities are there, local authorities, you will have to take the permission. Okay. So there is a agricultural land, non-agricultural land. If you want to construct industry, then you have to take license because it may be a polluting kind of a thing, so on and so forth. Those are the external control. But as a owner, nobody can tell you what you should do with the land. Okay, you can do whatever you like. So control over the use of the property, right to take any benefit from the property. Okay, suppose there is a land on which there is a tree, coconut tree is there. Those coconut you want to consume or you want to allow to dry on the tree only, that is your prerogative. Nobody can question you. Nobody can say that, hell, what are you doing? Why are you not, plucking those coconuts and selling it or distribute it among poor? That's my problem. Meri marji. Okay, so that's the whole thing. Right to transfer or sell the property. Transfer means short of selling also. You can give on mortgage, lease, etc., etc. Right to exclude others from the property. So when you have a property, others cannot enter the property without your consent, without your authorization. So these are some of the rights which we call as proprietary rights. Now let us come to intellectual property, which is our subject. So number of distinct types of creation of the mind for which property rights are recognized. Now these are intellectual property actually is intangible. Intangible means it is not tangible. What is tangible? Hello. What is tangible?
You can touch and feel.
Which can be
Yeah.
seen and felt.
Tangible actually is touch. Okay. Whatever you can touch is known as, so it exists in physical form. It exists in physical form. So that is known as tangible property, but equally we can have intangible property, and intellectual property is an intangible property. Okay, you can't touch or feel or sense. See, there are 5 senses. Touching and feeling is only one sense. Okay, there are 5 sensory organs that human beings have. So you cannot perceive it through any of the 5 sensory organs that human body is endowed with. Everybody has 5 sensory organs. Of course, some specially able people are there. Maybe something may be lacking, but the whole thing is every one of us naturally, human beings have 5 sensory organs. So anything which cannot be perceived by any of the 5 senses is known as intangible. Intellectual property is intangible. So that's what it basically says. Owners are granted exclusive rights. Okay. So just as tangible property owners have rights, intangible property owners like intellectual property, they also have certain rights. And see, what does law do? See, law basically creates certain rights and liabilities. Okay. What is law? Law is about rules and regulations, basically. Okay, that's what is a form of law. And what are these rules and regulations? They give certain rights to you. Okay, and there are correspondingly there are liabilities also, and there is a kind of a reverse relationship with the rights and liabilities. If somebody has a right, means you have a corresponding liability or duty. You have a duty to respect the right of that person. Suppose you are walking on the street, so it's your right to walk peacefully on the street. You are passing by, somebody cracks a joke on you, somebody gives you a gali, bad words are used against you, then you will also retaliate, you will also use the bad words. The point I am making is, when you are walking on the street, why others are not calling you names? Because they know that then I can also, hum bhi muh mein jawan rakhte hai, so we can also say something. Okay, so because I am not violating their right, they are not violating my right. So there is a reciprocity which is there, which is very important for peaceful coexistence. This society consists of people who respect each other's rights. Okay, it's very important that we respect each other's rights, and that is actually duty as a citizen to respect the rights of other people. We should not. Good old days, there used to be always carelessness means throwing a banana skin on the road so that somebody will skid off it. So it's a duty. You can eat bananas, skin is there, don't eat the skin. We are not monkeys, human beings. But that skin you dispose of properly. Put it in a dustbin, okay? Or dispose it in some manner that other people are not inconvenienced. Okay, this is the civic duties that are there. So there are rights and duties. That's what law does, and it gives you a kind of mechanism for redressal of grievances. So if any of your rights are violated, the law gives you a remedy, okay, by providing a system of courts. So there is a system of courts, and you should approach, of course, appropriate court, and then legal procedure in India somehow is very, very tedious. Everybody, even Chief Justices of India, they have time and again said about it, but they only say, okay, so they say that this is not there, this is legally tardy, expensive, all that. As one Chief Justice said, if you don't have money, it is sin to look at justice. Okay, those I am not denying all that, those do exist. Okay, but still there is, if you doggedly pursue your claim, you can always get your rights protected. But more than going to the court, it's a deterrent effect that is more important. Okay, people don't violate your rights because they know there's a system of courts and they don't want to get involved, entangled in that. Police ka lafda nahi mangta hai. Okay, so that keeps them away from getting into any kind of mischief in the sense violation of rights of others. So that is what the law does. So what we are going to learn here is what kind of intellectual property rights are there, what are they, and how does law protect them, what kind of specific rights it gives to the owners of those intellectual property rights. Okay, so there are certain exclusive rights to variety of intangible assets. So what are those, etc., we will see. Patents are there. You must have heard these words. So these are all intellectual property rights. What are they? We are going to study just now. Patents, trademarks, copyrights, and designs. 4 main categories of intellectual property, but there are others also. So we will, as we go down the line, we will see what kind of intellectual property rights are there. So these are the different patents are there. What are they? We will see. Trademarks are there. Industrial, even plant varieties also are protected. Copyrights are there on creative works. Geographical indications, what are they? We will see. Layout designs of integrated circuits. Confidential information. Okay, there are trade secrets like the formula of Coke. Coke is sold throughout the world, but there are a very few people, okay, maybe 2, 3, 4 people who know the formula, and it is kept as a well-guarded secret. Okay, so that is what is confidential information, which is also intellectual property rights. What is that? We will see. Now, what is the benefit of this? First, historically, there was this Galileo Galilei, and Galileo Galilei invented a pump, water pump, where you can raise water from a lower level to higher level. Manual pump using a piston and a valve. And then he applied to the king for being granted the exclusive rights. Okay. And that was maybe the first patent or whatever. So what I'm saying is why these are given, that also we will see. So these are the rights acquired by an owner of an intellectual property. category of property that includes intangible creations of human intellect. So these rights are available on the creations of human intellect. Okay, this is what, of course, even smaller animals, smaller in the sense, other than human being, there are many animals. The entire animal kingdom is there. Even plants are also living things, and they have certain amount of brains, but the human brain is the most developed kind of a brain. So there is a creativity that flows out of the brains of many people, and once you create something using your human intellect, you can protect that using a intellectual property right. Okay, that is what it basically means. So it refers to creations of mind such as invention, literary, artistic work. You have invented something. Okay, you have invented somebody had invented. There is a Japan I saw. I don't know whether it is real or fake. So many things are circulated on social media. Somebody said that they have invented a car which runs on water in Japan. How does it run on water? Water. What is the formula of water? Hello, high school chemistry.
So it works on hydrogen gas.
Exactly. So you also must
H2O.
have seen that H2O is the formula.
Yes, sir.
So hydrogen and oxygen. So you separate them, and the hydrogen gas is there. That can be used to propel the car. Now this is an invention. Okay, in short. So can you protect this invention? Okay, using intellectual property, you can. Okay, that's what is there. Literary and artistic works are there. You write a poem, then you have a copyright which is attached. You create a film. Okay, you create a musical piece. Any kind of creative film is there. All these are protected by something called as copyright. Designs and symbols. Okay, the typical designs, trademarks are protecting those. We will see how. Names and images used in, so these are trademarks. Okay, so nobody else can now. Coke means it is registered trademark of Coca-Cola. So you can't sell anything in anywhere and name it as Coke. Okay, but it is protected because the buying people, they may be deceived into buying that, thinking that it is original Coke. So that is why the protection is there. It works for both. It also works in favor of protecting the interests of the consumers. That is what branding. Okay, branding is the same thing. Main purpose is to encourage creation of wide variety of intellectual goods and strike the balance between interest of innovators and wider public interest. So the innovator, there's a lot of sweat that goes into inventing something. That fellow must have spent. Now that example that I gave you about the car that runs on water, a team of people is working day and night to make it happen, to make it work. So there is a lot of effort. So that effort should be rewarded. And how do you reward the effort is by giving them exclusive right over that. So nobody else can manufacture that car and sell it commercially. Okay, unless so there is a process of license also. For a fee, they can be transferred to them. Okay. So strike the balance between interest of innovators and wider public interest. So patents come, of course, with a limited period. After that, they become public property. Okay, so today, Munshi Premchand, the celebrated author of Hindi, now his works during his lifetime and even after his death, there was a copyright. So nobody can, print those works. But today what has happened is, I think whatever the time limit is there after the death of the author, that is passed. So now it has come into the open domain. So anybody can publish the works of Munshi Premchand and make money out of it. Okay. So all the older authors are the Shakespeare's work, anybody can, even Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes, etc. So there are many older authors are there. The copyright has expired. So it has become the property of the humankind. Okay, each one of us is the owner of that. But initially, the ownership is on the creator, who enjoys the fruits of his creation by way of financial rewards that he gets on commercial marketing of that. And thereafter it becomes a public property. It's a kind of a treasure of the humankind. Okay, we as human beings, we have created it, so we have right of ownership on that. Who? Everybody of us. So these are the some of the things. Patents are there, which are given on new invention, formulations, etc. Trademarks. These some trademarks are shown. Microsoft is there, Windows that you see all the time, and then Carlsberg beer is there, Coca-Cola is there. Okay, so these are all world-known. Intel inside, so Intel semiconductors. So these are the trademarks which can be used only by the registered owners of the trademarks. And when the trademark is there, it guarantees the quantity, quality, okay, performance, durability, whatever features are there, they are guaranteed. So that if nobody else should be able to use it. Copyrights are there, which is on the creative works, on the paintings, on the poems, on the films, on the music, etc. The copyrights are there to the creators. Geographical indications. Okay, so we will study that. What is geographical indications? Okay, this intellectual property right is not popularly known, so we will study about it. Here it is shown as Darjeeling tea. So Darjeeling tea means a specific type of tea which is grown in the Darjeeling region only. So there is a specific geographical region, and the tea grown there only can be called as Darjeeling tea. I cannot grow a tea here in Panvel and then I say that it is Darjeeling tea because I have brought it there. Okay, in like we have these Alfonso mangoes, Apus, Devgarh Apus, Ratnagiri Apus. So that is only grown in that area. Okay, somebody takes that plant and grows somewhere else, it can't be called as. Okay, we will see more of that. Industrial design is there. Now the Coke bottle is shown. The shape of the bottle is protected. So nobody else can, have the bottle of the same shape. Okay, because it's an industrial design which is protected by IPR. Trade secrets are there. That also I told you the formula of Coke is there. So any of the bottlers, distributor, there's a non-disclosure agreement that they're supposed to sign just to protect the trade secrets. Now, international concern was there on this, and it was, 1883, there was a Paris Convention, something about international law. International law is not really a law. Why? Because it is not created by a sovereign government. And if you violate the international law, there is no enforcement machinery. Here, if I stab anyone, the police is there, they will catch me. So there is an enforcement machinery which exists to protect the rights which are there under the Indian Penal Code, which is a substantive code for criminal offences. It is there. But international law, there is no enforcement machinery. There is no system of courts. Of course, somebody says that International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice is actually, it works as an arbitration, in the sense both parties have to give consent that we yield to the jurisdiction, and whatever the decision the court gives, we will abide by that. And more importantly, who can go to International Court of Justice is only the nation states. Nations who are members of United Nations, only they can go. You and me, we are not. We are citizens of India. India is a member of United Nations. We are not members. So we cannot go. Individuals cannot go. Okay, the latest case you must have, like that Kulbhushan Jadhav's case is there. There what happened is that Kulbhushan Jadhav, an ex-Indian Navy officer, was caught by Pakistani intelligence agency somewhere in Gulf, and they accused him for espionage. And then he was taken to Pakistan, given a trial, and then given a death penalty. So India went against that to the International Court of Justice. Who has gone? Not Kulbhushan Jadhav. India as a country. Why did we go? Because he is our citizen. And Harish Salve, the noted senior advocate, he fought the case for 1 rupee. He only charged 1 rupee fee from the government of India, which I think Sushma Swaraj gave from her own. That 1 rupee, she had actually, I think she forgot to pay him. She was a law minister then who had engaged him. So she, after her death, her daughter gave that 1 rupee to Harish Salve, that this is your fees. But point I am making is, so there is international law, whether it is a law or not, many people believe it is not a law in the true sense. But it exists. There is a body of rules and regulations. So what is the basis for that? The basis for that is comity between the nations. We all accept certain things. Okay, as good citizens, just as individuals we accept, as good international citizens, the nations accept certain things. Okay, so it's voluntary. You are accepting. You may have different views, but you have to be with the world community. Okay, इस दुनिया में जैसे बोलते हैं समाज में रहना है. Good old movies, if you see, typical Hindi pot boiler movie, the rich girl falls in love with a poor boy and the father says no and says समाज में हमारी इज्जत, all that खानदान की इज्जत को मिट्टी में मिला, all that stuff. Basically there what happens is something like that. What will society think? Of course all those things are now, people are getting out of all that. But good old days people believe that yes, the societal things are there, social beliefs are there. We should follow that. Otherwise, we will be disliked in the society. So that social pressure, so something that international pressure is there. So all civilized nations, of course, there are rogue nations, what we call in international law. That North Korea is there, Kim Jong-un. He says, hell with international community. I will do what I want to do. So like that, but you can't do anything about it. Afghanistan, now that Taliban is there. What are they doing? God only knows. Today, Abhi, half an hour ago, I saw on the TV, they have come out with a new fatwa that nobody is allowed to shave, male. No male should shave. If they are shaving, then that is against the Sharia and action will be taken. He will be penalized. So like that, so but international community, they are trying hard to get recognition, but with such attitude, I don't know how many people are going to recognize. So what I'm saying is, the basis of international law is also, how do they do it? When you want to form up international opinion on certain issues, they have these conventions. Convention is a meeting of where every member nation of United Nations, many are there. I don't know exact count, maybe around 200 plus. They are members of United Nations. There are countries throughout the world, and they send their representatives, and there is an argument and discussion and debate, and finally the draft emerges, and by majority it is passed. And the people, again, there is a voluntary kind of a thing. Okay, you can sign or you cannot sign also. If you believe that this is not, I don't agree with this, don't sign as a nation. Okay, so once you sign, then you become bound by that. This is how international law is created through the treaties and conventions. Okay, treaties are bilateral. It's like a contract. Okay, that also somebody will teach you. Contract act. Contracts are between two individuals, two persons. But such contracts between two nations is what is known as treaties. That treaty you must have read about in history. Okay, Treaty of Warsaw and this and that. So
Yes,
all
sir.
that is there. That is the basis of international law. Convention. So two conventions were there. So there they say that, okay, intellectual property rights should be recognized throughout the world. Then there was created World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, which is a organ of United Nations. United Nations, I told you, is a voluntary association of free nations of the world. Okay, it's purely voluntary. Nobody is compelling anyone. You voluntarily become a member. You voluntarily bind yourself with whatever their understanding, customs, conventions are there. There was more than 50 years ago, there was the United Nations. They came out with a document called as Universal Declaration of Human Rights. What they are saying that as human beings, somebody is born on this earth as a human being. The very fact that he is born as a human being, automatically certain rights are available to such an individual, and those rights are universal, and those rights are called as human rights. These rights come to you only because you are a human being. So these are called as universal human rights, and they are documented in a document called as Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So there's Article 27, which outlines that governs IPR to TRIPS. So there is a trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, which is another institution created, and that is governing how the intellectual property. WIPO, so it is there, it is created basically. Come to the last bullet, hosting forum. What are the activities of World Intellectual Property Organization? Hosting forums to discuss and shape international IP. These intellectual property rules should be international. Okay. As of today, I told you there's a territorial nature of law. So what is a crime in India may not be crime. Now this gold smuggling is there. Now in Dubai, gold is sold like a bhajipala. As easy, you can buy a bunch of palak. So you can buy gold there. Okay, there is no control at all. Okay, but in India there are a lot of control. So what I'm saying is every nation, they have their own sovereignty. They are independent nations, so they can decide what they want to have laws. But beyond that, some international uniformity has to be there. Why? Because international trade is happening. Okay, there's a lot of international trade. When you talk about supply chain management, we talk global supply chain management. So global trade is there. Okay, globalization has happened, and that is why the uniformity should be there. Okay, so that Indian company doing business in US should not feel alienated. You can't say कि हमारे यहाँ ऐसे नहीं होता पर यहाँ ऐसे होता है क्या करेगा. All that confusion should not be there. That is why certain international. That is why this World Intellectual Property Organization is there, hosting forums to discuss and shape. So they have various discussions. Okay, vade vade jayate tattva bodha. So the true wisdom will emerge after the discussion and debate. This is how courts, how do they decide a case? Judge is not there whether murder happened or not. Judge is sitting there. The parties are arguing. Okay, the government pleader will argue as to how this fellow has done the murder. And the defense lawyer will say, no, this is not correct. So after hearing the argument, the judge will firm up his position. Providing global services that register and protect IP in different countries. So there should be a global registration. Resolving transboundary IP disputes, intellectual property disputes, which are across the boundary. So they can be settled in WIPO. Connect intellectual property systems through uniform standard and infrastructure, and general reference database on IP matters, intellectual property matters. So there is a TRIPS. So this is an agreement. Okay, this is the agreement. India is also signatory to this. So in that agreement, multinational agreement it is. Okay, many nations, they are signatories to this. Okay, in 1995. And all the members of World Trade Organization, they are signatories to this. And these are the intellectual property rights which are covered: patents, copyright, trademark, geographical indication, industrial design, trade secret, and plant varieties. Now let us look at this. So these are the types of intellectual property rights. Okay, same thing put in a graphic. Indian IPR legislation. Now, as I told you, the international law, India has gone, somebody has gone and signed that TRIPS. That doesn't mean that I, as an Indian citizen, am bound by that. Okay. As an Indian citizen, I am not bound by what my country has signed there. For me, I need a law. And generally the laws are created. Who creates law? Hello. In India, who is making the law?
The government bodies.
Which body? Government is the answer that everybody and anybody can give. Government makes the, but government means there is legislature, there is executive and the judiciary, three limbs of the government. So legislature, which consists of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the Parliament of India. At the central level, the laws are created by Parliament. At the state level, the laws are created in Maharashtra, where Vidhan Parishad also. Many states only Vidhan Sabha is there, and 5-6 states there is Vidhan Parishad. So that is the state legislature, what we call. So they basically create the law. If you are interested in the Hindi, Marathi, Sanskrit names of that, there is known as Vidhayika. Vidhayika means the legislature. Karyapalika is executive. The job of executive is to implement the law. And then there is a judiciary, Nyayapalika. And the system of courts, Supreme Court and all other courts are there. Their job is to resolve disputes and interpret the law. Okay. So these are the laws that are made by Parliament of India. Why did we make it? Because we are signatory there. So it's an international promise that is given. But you have to take a domestic action on international promise. And this is how, so these many acts are there. Trademarks Act, Copyrights Act is there, Patent Act is there, Design Act is there, Geographical Indication of Goods Registration Protection Act, Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Act, Protection of Plants and Varieties of Farmers' Rights, and Biological Diversity Act. So we will quickly now try to understand these are the different intellectual property rights that are available. So let us go to them one by one. One of the most important, or generally IPR बोले तो लोगों के दिमाग में it comes patent. Okay. So what is a patent? It is given to somebody who does a invention. You have discovered something, you have invented something. Okay. Something new which did not exist early on. So that is your invention, which is a new product or process that meets the condition. Now, each and everything cannot be patented. To be patented, that idea, that invention should be novelty. It should be novel. ये जो COVID-19 है, उसको लोग कोरोना बोलते हैं. कोरोना was always there. उसका नाम है novel coronavirus. Novel means new. This corona was always there, but this particular variety of corona did not exist earlier. So they gave him the name of novel coronavirus. Okay, which is COVID-19 is also another name. Okay, so it should be novel. Novel means something that did not exist early on. Okay. Non-obviousness, something which should not be obvious. Common sense भले क्या है सबको मालूम है. Okay, that should not be there, and it should be capable of industrial use. So these are the three properties which is something is there in an invention. Industrial use means what? If you come out with a fundamental sciences discovery or invention, that cannot be patented because it is not industrial use. You are just invented an idea. Suppose Newton is there. So law of gravitation, that law of gravitation cannot be patented. Because industrial, so somebody based on that law, if somebody develops something, some product which works on the gravity, there can be a patent for that because there's an industrial use. So application should be there. If something is only a kind of a theoretical idea, that cannot be patented. Provides the owner with right to decide how and whether the invention can be used by others. So we have seen the property means what? That owner of the property gets an exclusive right over the property. So here the invention is there. Now you give the ownership right to the inventor by way of patent. And once he enjoys that patent right, he can decide whether others can use that or not. Okay. So this is how a patent looks like. United States of America patent. Okay, why we talk about United States America? World industrially most advanced nation in the world. Of course, now others are also there. But traditionally it enjoys that, and world currency today, dollar is a world currency. United Nations headquarters is at New York, which is in United States. Earlier, bipolar world we used to call USSR was there. What is USSR? Hello. What is USSR? Nobody knows. Okay, United.
Sir, United States of Soviet Russia.
Okay, United Soviet Socialist
Socialist
Republic.
Republic.
Okay. So it was actually one nation which was there in Asia and part of which was in Europe. Such a huge. Later on, what happens is after the perestroika, etc., I think it happened somewhere around 90s, early 90s, 1990, 92, 93, 94, disintegration of USSR happened. So now it is split into, I don't know, more than 50 small countries. Of course, a bigger chunk today remains, which is still called as Russia. But it's not that powerful as USSR. Earlier, USSR and USA, these were the bipolar world. So that time, our international policy, we were pro-USSR. And Pakistan was supported by America. So all our wars were happening. So we were, suppose there's the Indo-Pakistan war. Our army is using Russian, USSR armament. Guns are there, ammunition is there, aircrafts are there. And the Pakistan army is using all American. Okay. NAT. Ours was MiG. MiG is Russian aircraft. So that was the situation, but after disintegration now but USA is a success story. USA as a nation. I remember when I was doing my executive MBA at Jamnalal Bajaj, we had a paper on development economics. Okay. Why it was there, I don't know, but it was there. Maybe they fall short of subjects. Even management theory was not that developed those days. Okay. So the professor actually took 3 sessions of 3 hours only on why USA is great. Why does it enjoy that industrial supremacy? And many reasons are there. But first thing is it was a virgin land there, uncultivated, huge tract of lands. Who went there? The people from Europe, mostly from Europe, they migrated there. Who are these people who migrated? They were harassed in their country. They were not happy with what was happening, what is opportunities are available in their country. So such people with dreams in their eyes, and those days it was not difficult to cross the seas using those ships. So they came there, and they got an opportunity. They had dreams in their eyes. They worked hard, and they created what US is. But one of the many other reasons are there. A lot of natural resources are there. Vast tract of land is there. And one of the reasons that it respects the intellectual property rights. In India, if you invent something, Within weeks, people will take out the Xerox and photocopies of what you have done and make money. Okay. Out of that, and you will be begging on the street, and this has happened. In United States of America, it does not happen. If you invent something new, you can take a patent on it and you can mint money on that. Who invented motor car? Hello. Who is the inventor of motor car? Basic question, high school boy should know. Hello. Who is the inventor of motor car? Am I audible? At least somebody say yes, you are audible, so that
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am audible, but nobody knows who invented motor car. Okay, jane do. Henry Ford. Henry Ford. Henry Ford, after inventing the motor car, he formed a company called as Ford Motor Company. Commercially manufactured for many years. This is the only company manufacturing automobiles. Made a huge money. Today also Ford Motor Company is one of the largest companies in the world. It is unfortunate that they are withdrawing from India. Okay, they have taken a decision to shut down all manufacturing plants in India and they are getting out of India for whatever reasons. That's a separate debate whether it should happen, why it is happening, etc. But the point I'm making, so on and so forth, many. Telephone was invented by whom? Hello. Alexander Graham Bell, okay.
Graham
And Bell Laboratories is today one of the leading telecom companies in the world, so on and so forth. All the inventions, America is a land where you can go there and seek your fortune if you have intelligence, if you are ready to make efforts, the society will reward you. And how do you reward? By way of patents. So they are actually the ideal situation how the patents will be respected. So criteria now, suppose come back to India, criteria for issuing patents in India. Of course, this is a law, enforcement is still a problem. Okay. But let us understand what the law is, legal provision. Novelty should be there that I talk, non-obviousness, something which is like sabko malum hai, what is a great thing. Okay. So existing knowledge hai, you can't recycle the whole thing and say that okay, copy paste wala mamla nahi chalega. You have something new, capable of industrial application. Okay, so these three features should be there. Patent Act 1970 and amended because our law was there, it was not in tandem with the international law. So somewhere we have brought it at par. What cannot be patented? Frivolous invention. Okay, frivolous invention that harms public order. You can't invent an atom bomb and get a patent for it. That okay, we put a bomb in a railway station, guaranteed 100 people will die. This is the invention that patent you can't take. You can't invent some concoction which if administered to people, they die instantly. Okay, something which offend the morality. Okay, health of animals, plants, humans, all these cannot be patented. Methods of agriculture, horticulture, these also cannot be. Traditional knowledge. Okay, haldi is having antiseptic property. Somebody made an effort in US to take a patent on that. Then India government fight that what is new in that. Are knowing that. Every dadima tell that in kitchen you are cutting vegetable, if you are there's a hand start bleeding, cutting, immediately apply the haldi powder on that. Antiseptic. So what is great? Now what they are selling, that latte, haldi latte is there, it's a great, marketed as a something big. Okay, but this is a traditional knowledge. Okay, as long as nobody asking for patent, we don't have any issue. Let them sell anything. But patent, we're talking traditional computer program cannot be patented. Invention related to atomic energy, because atomic energy, everything belongs to the nation. Okay, you can't do any private research on atomic energy, plants and animals. So there is a separate law for that. Mere discovery, scientific principles, I told you that Newton will not get a patent on gravitation. Then there are rules that are there. I am skipping certain slides because then we will not be able to complete everything. Now another intellectual property rights is industrial design. Okay, industrial design. So ornamental or aesthetic aspect of an article or object. So it could be three-dimensional feature or two-dimensional certain designs. So Design Act is there. So you can protect it. Once you have the design, you can register it. And once it is registered, you get the exclusive IPR on that. So this is an example of a 3D shape of a toy. So if you invent some kind of a toy, Barbie doll is there. Barbie doll, if the design is registered, which it will be, so nobody else can, make the replica and sell it. Okay, because it will be violation of the design right, the intellectual property rights, or two-dimensional design, carpet design, etc. Even that can be. Of course, there are traditional designs. They cannot be they cannot be registered. They cannot get a IPR under, like Paithani designs are there. Now these are traditional, okay, for generations. The people are weaving them, so you can't register them. But if you create something new, then you can get a registration or the IPR is what is known as a copyright. So copyright is given on the creative work, so literary and artistic works. And what does it cover? Books are there. So generally in book you might have seen C likha rehta hai, circle and so on. So the copyright is enjoyed by whom? It can be with the author, or sometimes the author can give it to the publisher also. Okay, so that is known as a copyright. Music is there. There's a copyright on the music. Every time music is played publicly, then you have to take permission from the copyright holder. And as I told you, many people in India, we don't believe in copyright. That's the whole thing. Intellectual property rights, we abuse them. We don't respect them. That's the real situation. So all those fellows who are publicly, playing songs, actually they have to take a permission and pay the license fee. Suppose I am in Ganpati, I am Chikka Motyachi Maal, hoti ka 1.5 तोळ्याची, whatever, 30 तोळ्याची. If I am playing that song, I have to find out who is holding the copyright. I have to go to that person, get a permission from him, which and whatever fee is there, I have to pay. And then only I can do the public performance. But here in India, nobody respects anything. That's the whole problem. Paintings are there. So painting also there is a copyright. Sculptures are there. Films are there. Okay. Computer programs also, databases, advertisements, maps, technical drawings, so everything is enjoying a copyright. There is a Copyright Act 1957. What is covered? Literary works are there, films are there, dramas, okay, musical works, artistic works are there, sound recording is there. Everything is protected under copyright. Then there is a trademark. Okay, another intellectual property right is what is known as a trademark, a sign capable of distinguishing the goods or service from one enterprise to another. Initially, how the trademark came is good old days, when the goods, suppose one ship is coming from England to India. So that time, all the traders will put their goods on top and everything is packed in wooden boxes. So without opening the box, how do you distinguish whose box belongs to whose? So that is why certain marks were made. Even today you see, you go in the vegetable market, karat bolte, karat means crate. Nowadays, we have improved the packaging and transportation of vegetables. So instead of the gunny bag, the crates are used. Plastic crates, green color or blue color, you might have seen. Those uske upar hi baithta hai baad mein. After they're displaying the vegetable, they just turn it upside down or uske upar baithte, multiple use. So that crates are there. Now whose crate is what? So they make some marks on that. Okay, so like that the trademark, that is how the whole concept originated. Ancient times, artisans used to put their signature or mark. Now also you'll see any painting is there, so the signature of the painter is there. Even art, poems, older poems are there. You will see that the poet's name is there in the last. Okay. Ghazal, they call it Makta. Makta is the last share in which the name of the shayar is always there. Okay. Or like our abhangs are there in Marathi. So the saint poet who has written that abhang, his name comes. So Tuka Mane Maje means Tukaram Maharaj. Abhang is there. Last, it will come in the last stanza. So what I'm saying is that is the origin of the trademark. Of course, those are covered by copyrights now. So Trademark Act is there and latest amendment is 2010. So these are the trademarks. Coca-Cola is a trademark. So you can, what can you register as a trademark? You can register a name. Okay, Coca-Cola will be registered. So nobody else can use that name for the class of products that are registered against which the trademark is there. Logo type, see, this is that tick mark is there. No. इसका है वो tick mark? मुझे भी नहीं याद आ रहा. Which company? Huh? Some garment company is there. I forgot the name. Okay. So they are using it. So nobody else can use that. Symbol, McDonald, 2 golden arches are there. So that's the symbol which is registered. And the slogan, I am loving it. Okay. So that is registered. Even the color. Earlier this Vodafone, etc. The Orange Mobile, Hutchinson Max. Before that is called a Orange Mobile. The Orange company is there and the color that comes with that. Even that can be registered as a trademark. So that is about trademark. Then there is a geographical indications. So agricultural, natural or manufactured product originating from a definite geographical territory. Okay, so that only can, there's a GI tag bolte usko. You have to go and register it and then you get a GI tag. GI stands for Geographical Indications Tag. Okay, conveys an assurance of quality and distinctiveness of a product which is essentially attributed to the place of origin. Okay, something that basically has a connection with the adjoining geographical area because of the distinctiveness, something which is different because it comes from that. So generally they say, you know, the whatever the air, the climate is there, water that is used, the temperature is there, the soil qualities are there. Okay, so like mineral water there, mineral water has to be from a natural source. What you buy, Bisleri, these are packaged drinking water. They can't call themselves as a mineral water. Okay. So like that, we will see what GI tags India has. And so it's about authenticity. It's actually protection of the customer. Okay. So there is a Geographical Indication of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999, which is guaranteeing this. So look at the geographical indications from India. Darjeeling tea. So only the tea which is manufactured in that Darjeeling region, because it will take the characteristics from the soil, from the weather, from the humidation, etc. All those qualities. That is why that quality, if I bring that plant and put it here, I can't call it a Darjeeling tea. Okay. So Mysore silk is there. So near the Karnataka, Mysore silk. Kullu shawl, Kullu Manali, there's a Kullu shawl. Kurg orange. Then there is a Madhubani painting. You must have seen Madhubani painting early last year. Many Bihar leaders, you know, they were wearing the mask painted with the Madhubani painting. Okay, that was their way to promote the Madhubani painted masks. Okay, Feni, Goa, the intoxicating beverage. Okay, Then there is a Tirupati Laddu also. Okay, if you go to Tirupati temple, you get that Prasad ka Laddu, big one. Okay, so even that is now enjoys a GI tag. Okay, it is basically a bundi laddu. It's got a lot of dry fruits, etc. Then Bikaneri bhujia that every one of us eat. Pulkari from Punjab, it's an embroidery style is there. Nashik Valley wine. Okay, so good quality grapes are grown near Nashik. Then Hyderabadi Halim. Halim is a meat preparation. Okay, that is made in Hyderabad. Internationally, Champagne is the bubbling wine which is produced in the district of Champagne in France. Okay, south of France, there's a district called as Champagne, and only the bubbling wine which is produced there can be called as Champagne. In India also, we have Indian Champagne, but we don't call it Champagne. It's a sparkling wine. Okay, Hawaiian cigar is there from Cuba, Scotch whiskey from Scotland, tequila from Mexico, Swiss knife. You must have had as a child, or even today you might be carrying a knife that has got 15, 20 things inside that. Swiss army knife. So that has to be from Switzerland. Cognac is there, which is a brandy. Napa Valley wine, Washington apple is there. Like that, Irish cream, cheese. Here also Indian map, the slide is not very clear. So different parts of India, we have different GI tags. Trademark and GI tag, what is the kind of a difference? Trademark is used by an entity, but GI is not owned by any particular entity, not a particular organization. Anybody in that region can claim the GI tag protection. Okay. So these are geographical indications. Okay. Banganpalli mangoes are there. Laddu, these we have seen, Kangra paintings, etc. How many are GI tags are issued? This is some figures, okay, with available with the registrar. So it is until Karnataka has maximum, then UP, Odisha, West Bengal, Gujarat. Even Maharashtra also has. Kolhapuri Chappal enjoys a GI tag. Our Alfonso mangoes, Hapus, it enjoys a GI tag. Even I was told that Shenga chutney from Solapur, even it enjoys a GI tag. Okay. Trade secrets. Now, what is trade secrets? So, IP rights on confidential information may be sold or licensed. In India, there is no law to protect this, but there can be a non-disclosure agreement that is signed, okay, between the parties, and violation of that trade secret, against that you can get a protection, okay, under the general law. Okay, not specifically, there is no law for registration of trade secrets. So these are the consolidated kind of a thing. Plant variety protections are there, even that. So you might have seen, different varieties of rice are there. Indrayani rice is there from Maharashtra. So all these variety protections are there. Basmati rice is there, Ambe More is there. All that can be protected under this Protection of Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Act 2001. Okay. So these are all the farmer is look at the last bullet. 3 roles for the farmer. He can be a cultivator, breeder, or conservator. Okay. So plant breeders can be there. So nurseries. So they create plants and then breed the plant, and then the plants are sold. Or conservators are there. So they are entitled to receive reward from National Gene Fund. So it's basically about creating something new and getting rewarded for it. Okay. Internationally also, there is a union. Okay, and India has joined that. We are going slightly faster. The last 5 minutes are there. Objectives, then the layout designs are there of integrated circuits. So nowadays we use all chips. Okay, we saw Intel inside is a small chip, but that chip itself is a VLSI. What is VLSI? What is VLSI? No idea. Very large scale integration. So what happened is, good old days, we used to have a circuit board. On the circuit board, all the components were soldered. Okay. And the circuit board had printed connector circuit on that. But then later on, they compressed it into integrated circuit, what is known as IC. Chip, जिसको बोलते हैं ना, chip, CHIP. Chip is an integrated circuit, but which is actually a integrated circuit which is compressed, which is miniaturized. Okay. So this design of that can be registered and protected as a intellectual property right. So its registration, what are the objections? Then biodiversity is there. Biodiversity is biological diversity. So it's about protecting the different species of flora and fauna on this Mother Earth. Because what happens, sometimes something may be lost in the process of evolution. So can we protect? Okay, so that is what the biodiversity. So Biological Diversity Act is there. So there is a in situ protection, ex situ, all that conservation, okay, of biodiversity, etc. is there. But it's slightly connected with intellectual property rights. Convention on Biological Diversity. So internationally, there was a, because you have to preserve and conserve the biodiversity. Okay, so Western Ghats are there, Sahyadri Ghats. It is already recognized as a biodiversity hotspot. So you can't, now I saw there is a lot of traffic jam ho gaya. There's a Kas plateau is there, Kas Pathar near Satara, where a lot of now the flowers are in bloom. So there what happens, it's a biodiversity hotspot. You can take photograph, that's all. You can't pluck the flowers, you can't walk on the flowers, you can't do anything to destroy the flowers. Because that is protected. The biological diversity. Okay, biodiversity is a short form of biological diversity. So IPR and biodiversity, they are connected. Okay, that is why we are discussing this. Protection is there under copyright, you can protect the data. Okay. Now, if you are into trading, okay, if you become an entrepreneur in this entrepreneurial cell, and put a motivation in you that, okay, I want to start a trading concern. Okay, so in trading also the intellectual property rights have a huge importance. There's a franchisee. So the McDonald is there. Now McDonald means what? That McDonald company is not coming and opening up outlet here. Some local people are there. They are given the franchisee rights. Coke bottling in India is not done by Coca-Cola company. Okay, so the concentrate comes from there. Then they add water, sugar, and carbon dioxide. They pack it and they make arrangements for the supply chain, distribution, etc., etc. So that is what is known as franchisee. In that franchisee, so there are all these multinational, McDonald's, Subway, Starbucks, Pizza Hut, KFC. Okay, so this, there the McDonald burger is sold. What does McDonald get? It's made by Indian people, by an Indian company, from Indian material, sold to an Indian customer, regulated by Indian government, but they have the franchisee rights. So a certain part, every burger that you use, eat, buy, a part of that goes to the McDonald company. Why? Because of the use of the word McDonald and the brand and the technology. So it's a franchisee model. Okay, so there the intellectual property is protected. Trademark, that nobody else can use it without the parent company. Copyrights are there. Okay, patents are there. So trade secrets are also there that I told you, the Coca-Cola trade secrets. In manufacturing also, intellectual property rights are important. Okay, so they can be protected. If you see, there are companies who buy technology from outside. There are companies who exclusively promote, create technology and sell it to somebody else. And there are companies who develop in-house everything. All three things. Biocon is there. Now, Biocon basically they come with an invention, and that they are selling it. They don't manufacture. Even now we are talking about Covishield. Many of you might have got the popular vaccines in India. Covaxin is also there, but Covishield is popular. That is manufactured by Serum Institute India in Pune, but that formulation was developed by Oxford. So Oxford developed the formulation. They have that patent right is transferred to Serum Institute. Okay, so that is known as a licensing. Very common in pharma company, pharmaceutical company, and cosmetics, etc. So under that license, they are manufacturing other companies. So this SIIs, Serum Institute of India, they did the clinical research, human trials, then they took out the permissions, etc. They are manufacturing and they are marketing. Okay, but every bottle is sold, every dose that is sold, a part goes to the Oxford for their intellectual property rights. Okay, so this is the power that is there. So what I'm saying is, it could be actually a combination. This is a pressure cooker. So there's a constructional feature. The design of the pressure cooker is patent. The design can be protected. Catalog, booklets, there can be a copyright. Trademarks can be there. So Prestige, Hawkins, these are the trademarks for pressure cooker. So like that, several aspects of intellectual property will be associated. There can be for e-commerce also, there is an intellectual property rights. Okay. Process for registration, certain intellectual property rights are required to be registered, not all. Okay. Copyright automatically comes. Okay, this is the official website of, there's a Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademark. Okay, Department for Professional Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which is a part of Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So its official website is there. Just do the search for Controller General of Patents. Itna 3 word bhi dalenge to you will get the website, and then the whole process, those who are interested. So this is the organizational structure. Ministry is there. Under the ministry, there is a Controller General, and then there are a patent offices. Design wing is there in Kolkata. Patent office is there in Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, because there you use a lot of applications. Trademark registry is also there, Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Chennai. GI registry is only in Chennai, and patent information services in Nagpur. So like that, it's a government thing, and you got to register once you have discovered. National IPR policy they came out with in 2016. Okay. Then they have this cell for IPR promotion and management. Okay. So there you can get the guidance about this. And there's IP Nani. Okay, one tech savvy grandmother. She is like a mascot of property. And the questions are asked by Chotu Aditya. And it is about spreading awareness of the importance of intellectual property rights amongst people. Okay. So this is what is there. This brings us to the end. Any questions are there? Quick questions I can take, otherwise we already surpassed the time. Any questions? No questions? So shall we call it a day? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. No
Yes,
question.
yes.
Yes,
I don't know what is your next engagement, I am not at all aware. Only I know that I am supposed to deliver this lecture up to 16:45, and I have already crossed 5 minutes. So I thank you people for being a very, very patient audience. I thank this institution, innovation cell of Sasmira's Institute of Management Studies and Research for giving me an opportunity to deliver impact lecture on innovation and entrepreneurship on the subject intellectual property rights. So thank you and see you and bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Ah.
you, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session. I hope that students learned a lot from your session and they got some advantage and benefits out of your experience, such a rich experience, I would say. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation for the session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you and God bless Sasmira and everybody. Okay.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
Students, I'll be sharing attendance link now in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, it is there. So make sure you fill that.
Yes, ma'am. We received the form. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.